James is impeccable. I almost feel like calling him James is disrespectful. Do I want to call him Uncle James? It's a weird thought. Hey there friends, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are a family of 393 so far. If you're new here, then you do not know that I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, just because I've been on YouTube for close to 5 years and I feel like, yeah, that's something I want for myself. So if you're new here, please consider hitting that subscription button and the notification bell. So this is the book that I am reviewing for you. It's quite a tiny book, isn't it? And it's only like 150 pages. This is Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I'm very well aware that James Baldwin is, his works are seminal and they're widely read. So I don't know how necessary this book review is, but I just feel like, why not? His work is important. His work is still relevant. So we should continue talking about him and his work. And I'm sure not everybody has read a James Baldwin title. And I really don't like making the assumption that people have read stuff when we just don't know who's out there discovering new books, right? Anyway, that's a whole spiel to justify why I'm reviewing this book. Let's get into it. So Giovanni's Room is mostly based in Paris. It is based in the 1950s. David is our narrator who is currently in Paris. David is having a hard time admitting to himself about his sexuality. We don't know whether he's gay or bisexual, but we definitely know that he's attracted to men, but he is in hiding from himself. And it seems like people around him can tell that he's not fully himself, but yeah, he's in complete denial. So the first time he has an encounter with a boy, it is in high school, it's with a friend, and he just, he completely shuns this friend with the hopes that he can remove all traces of, this experience happening. The second time is he meets Giovanni. Giovanni is an Italian bartender working at one of the bars that David and his friends like going to. His attraction to Giovanni is almost instant. They have this banter back and forth, really engaging conversation, and literally David cannot help himself but to fall in love. Not fall in love per se, not fall in love at all. Cannot help himself from being attracted to Giovanni. So that first night, they hold hands, they have dinner together, and he ends up in Giovanni's room, right? So while all of this is happening, Heya is an American girl who's also in Europe. She, at the moment when Giovanni and David meet, she is in Spain. She's taken some time out to think about David's proposal. So the differences between Giovanni and David are very clear. Giovanni is this flamboyant character who is very self-aware and self-accepting, which David isn't. Additionally, Giovanni being Italian and David being American, a lot of this creates, I don't know, it just creates tension between the two characters because they both have opinions, not very nice opinions, about each other's nationalities, I guess, and the people from the respective countries. they have certain things that they disapprove of each other, just the way of life, the way of seeing life and approaching life, and so forth. So it kind of creates, this tension between the two characters. Mr. Baldwin really brings these characters to life. They're very distinct. There is no mistaking who Giovanni is, who David is, who Heya is. Very, very distinct, and you really get to know them. I would say you really get to know David as well, and there's something about the way James has created David. David is really having a hard time with his sexuality, and as a result, he breaks other people's hearts, and his decisions lead to just other people going through like a really challenging time. And so, given that, it's so easy to like hate David because of the impact of his decisions and the impact of just like his inability to accept his sexuality. But it's really hard to hate David because James really brings forth his humanity. You get to know his backstory. You get to know the type of upbringing he had, and you understand that he is highly conflicted, he's highly ashamed of himself, and he just feels like he doesn't belong anywhere. So it's really hard to hate someone who's going through such a difficult time, even though it means that he is leaving a trail of broken hearts as he tries to figure himself out. Another wonderful thing that Mr. Baldwin does, I swear to God, it feels weird to call him James. Anyway, another amazing thing he does is how he brings Paris to life. He does such a great job of describing Paris, its beauty, its challenges, its nuances, its complexities. Especially there's a scene where he talks about Paris in the spring, summer. Honestly, it feels like someone is letting you in on a secret. He's so descriptive that it's very evident that he has lived there, and he's really gone beyond just being a tourist in the city. Like, he's gone into the secrets and the alleyways and just the various things that one might not be exposed to. It's so vivid, it's so descriptive, it's just so alive. And and you really feel like you are in Paris, France, don't you? Because he really brings in the language as well. There isn't a lot of French in the book, but there is a substantial amount for you to feel like you've been, for lack of a better term or less cliche term, like you've really been transported to this city. I just thought it was impeccable the way he talks about the river, Paris at night, the people. Yeah, he just does a great job of that. Okay, so the most surprising thing for me, I don't know if this was surprising to other people, it was surprising to me, is that this book has an all-white cast. Like, all the characters are white. David is white. Giovanni is white. He's Italian, but he's white. I just found that fascinating. I never thought for 1 second that Mr. Baldwin would write about white characters. So I wondered why he chose to write a book about sexuality and have all the characters be white. I mean, it does slightly emphasize the sexuality issue, right? By just having white characters. So you're mostly looking at sexuality, I guess. Yeah, but I just thought it was an interesting decision on his part. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I haven't read a lot of books where black authors center the story around white characters. Have I? The one thing to note about this book, just as a warning, trigger warning, it is quite sad. There is someone dies. Yeah. Is that giving away too much? I don't think so. One of the characters die. And it's sad how they die. The entire thing is sad, right? Because it's really hard to see someone struggling so much just to be who they are. And as much as the story was written in the 1950s, this is still very much other people's reality. And the conflict and confusion, self-hatred that one lives with when you're just like unsure about how to be in the world, it's really sad. So just be aware of that. But unlike a lot of the heavy books I've read this year, I feel like Mr. Baldwin does something that's very masterful, because he adds such beauty. His words are so beautiful and so poetic and so descriptive that you are not like overwhelmed by the story. Does that make sense? The beauty of his words cushion the blow. That's what I will say. So in terms of the themes, you know, like I said, it's quite clear from what I've been saying that sexuality is really a big one. Themes of home and belonging also come up. Themes of gender roles, gender politics also come up via Heya. And also kind of this, I want to say disdain. Is disdain too strong of a word? But French people don't seem to like Americans, or at least in this book, and vice versa. So that was interesting to read. What's up, French people? What's up, Americans? But in conclusion, friends, this is the book. I'm not usually one to give stars, but this deserves all the stars in the world. I don't even know what the system is with the stars, but honestly, this is beautiful. And after reading this, I just want to read everything he's ever written, including his essays, including short stories, including his plays. Anything I can get my hands on, I will, just because he is truly talented. By the way, I've reviewed Go Tell It on the Mountain, which is like actually my highest viewed video. So please check that out if you want to. Yeah, I really love that book, and I love this one. So, by the way, there was someone in that video who recommended that I read this book. Whoever you are, I hope you're still watching my videos. I read